You wake up one morning and realize your alarm didn't go off. So now you're late for school. So you hurry and eat a quick breakfast that just isn't as big or nutritious as you would have liked it to be. Once you're done with that, you have to get dressed. You want to look nice, but not like you're trying to look nice. Once you're finally all ready, you rush out to the car, hop in, turn the key, and find out your car isn't working. Can you believe it? So now you have to take the other car, the minivan, or maybe even the bus. It just seems nothing is going your way today. But consider if you have food in the refrigerator, clothes on your back, a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 75% of the people in the world. If you have money in the bank, in your wallet, and spare change in a dish at home, congratulations, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy. And if you woke up this morning and were able to get out of bed, you are more blessed than the million who will not even survive the week. Today we're going to take a look at some of the things we take for granted, the effect not appreciating things can have on us, and some of the steps we can take to encourage appreciation. The problem is we don't realize how privileged we are. In Argentina, for example, they lack the freedom of speech. Jane Shur, an author, wrote about her experience visiting Argentina. There she spoke to a man who was in prison for 4 years because he participated in a peaceful protest. Now, if it's like this in Argentina, imagine what it's like in North Korea or China. Dennis Campbell and James Michael wrote in an article for the Guardian newspaper in January of 2012 that in May of 2010, 20,662 of the patients who received National Health Service funded treatment in England had to wait more than 18 weeks to receive their treatment. That meant that for some of them, by the time they finally received the needed treatment, permanent damage had already been done. In the country of Romania, your average worker makes today $300 to $500 a month, while gas prices have been $6 a gallon for several years. And I know this from personal experience, because I grew up in Romania and have seen firsthand just how privileged we are over here. Edward Irungu wrote that in his home, in Kenya, parents have to pay a fee for their children to go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade. And they're sometimes put in the difficult position having to pull their children from school or deciding which one will get an education and which one will not. In June of 2010, Maud Barlow wrote in an article for the Guardian newspaper that nearly 2 billion people lived in water-stressed areas of the world, and 3 billion have no running water within a kilometer of their homes. Meanwhile, we complain because it's so hard to walk all the way down the hallway to get a drink of water from the drinking fountain, and that when we finally get it, it's not even cold. Now, not appreciating things can also have many effects. For one, it lessens the value of those things. In a U.S. News article published in January of 2012, Howard Stephen Friedman wrote that the United States has one of the lowest voter turnouts of any of the comparator countries. And the 2012 Children Trends database said that nearly 3 million high school students drop out of school every single year. Now, imagine how Mr. Irungu would feel knowing that back home in Kenya, children don't have this luxury. Not appreciating things can also affect our mood. Bernice Napak wrote in an August 2012 article for Yahoo Finance that in a survey of 26,000 people, 60% would choose a different career. Can you believe that? 60%. It's because we don't appreciate what we have. We say, I wish I had his job or her phone. Now, because it can affect our mood, it can also affect our health. Dr. Derek Cox, Director of Public Health at Dumfries and Galloway, says that if you are unhappy, you are more likely in the future to suffer from a physical illness. And John Ryder, a New York City psychologist, said that 35,000 people die from suicide every single year in America alone. In fact, the CDC has suicide listed as the 10th most frequent cause of death. And for teenagers, it's 3rd. It's because we're not happy. Dr. Robert Holden, in his happiness course, cleverly entitled, Be Happy, gives participants a test called a happiness genie for kids. The idea is that a genie appears in their life and offers them a series of wishes they can make on their children's behalf. Each wish is a forced choice. For example, I wish my child had wealth or happiness. In his most recent course, 100% of parents chose happiness over wealth for their children. And 90% of parents chose happiness over success. I know many times we think success is the key to happiness. We think if I'm rich or famous, then I'll be happy. The truth is that some of the poorest countries in the world are the happiest. In fact, the Happy Planet Index, yes, there's a Happy Planet Index, has Costa Rica listed as the happiest country out of 151 countries, while the United States is 105th on their list. An article by Alok Jha published in December of 2010 about happiness in nations with growing wealth said that getting richer does not necessarily make a country happier in the long run. What we need to realize is that happiness is a choice. If we learn to appreciate what we have, we'll then be happier. It's not getting more that makes us happy, it's being content with what we have, understanding how privileged we are. We need to make that choice, the choice of understanding how blessed we are. After that, we can remind others. It'll mean more coming from us because students are a lot more likely to listen to other students. We live in an age of video games and television. Teens are constantly bombarded with information, and we learn to stop listening and to stop caring. What? We learn to stop listening and to stop caring. Apparently that's why I'm not in humorous. Students are a lot more likely to listen to other students. It's a simple and effective way to remind others to be grateful. I mean, if you knew the cure to cancer, wouldn't you want to tell the whole world? We know the first step to a better world where everyone is happy. And it will help if we remind others, because then people won't take things for granted as much anymore. People realize how privileged we are to have the right of speech, for example. Voter turnouts will be much greater. And fewer high school students will drop out of school. People will also be happier because they will choose jobs they like rather than choosing jobs they think will have the most benefits. And because people are happier, they will also be healthier. Getting people to look at things in a more optimistic way will drastically lower suicide rates. So now we've taken a look at a few of the many things we take for granted on a daily basis. Some of the effects not appreciating things can have on us, and some of the steps we can take to encourage appreciation. So next time that pesky alarm goes off, remember that you have a phone you can use every single day, that you have a school lunch you can eat no matter how small, that you have clothes you can wear to school or around town, and that you have a car or even a bus to get you where you need to go.